What up, Nation? It's your boy Tommy SB, man. We're back at it again. It's the NASCAR playoffs. We're here with the weekly NASCAR Wise Take Y stream here on YouTube, man. Darlington, one of my favorite tracks, I think, just because it's not a short track. It's not a mile and a half. It's kind of right there in the middle at like a mile and a third. So speed's a little faster. Track's its own, it's kind of special design. We got a lot of tire wear. So there's a lot of variables. This track kind of can do some crazy things, man. You can see some people come all the way from the back to the front, no problem. And you can see some guys in the front end up in the back. So, and you can lose spots on pit road. The incidents, it's not a short track. It's not a mile and a half. So the incidents, it's usually like one or two cars at a time. But usually they're pretty tore up. So, you can have some really good drivers get involved in some scuffles mid-race or something like that and finish in the back and crush you, man. So, it's really tough this week. There's some pretty chalky plays up there, especially some place differential plays. We've got some pretty, heavily owned dominators up there. So it's like, what are you going to do with these pieces? I mean, there's some really chalky place differential pieces that, like, really scare me that I'm going to have to go either way under or way over on. People like Ryan Preece, Eric Jones, and even Ryan Newman this week are all going to be like probably close to 40% owned. And it's like, for all three of them getting there, that's, fine and dandy. If you're playing cash, you could play all three of them, but it's also scary that at least one of them is going to crush 30 to 40% of the field. So, what are you going to do with that? So we're getting a little bit of kind of like the race breakdown, like I said. So we've got 367 laps. That's going to get you 275.25 fantasy points, or dominator points, So when you're looking at that, you need some dominators. Two, I think, is where people are going to land in cash, trying to stick on this place differential, kind of ceiling game, or ceilings with these place differential guys. But I think if you're getting in tournaments, I think the way to get different is getting that third dominator in, kind of hunting one of those pieces off of your lineup and just kind of crossing your fingers that you got the two or one of those three guys that are going to be super high owned, that you got them right. And be able to play a little bit with the middle of your lineup with some of these lower owned. You could probably save a little money on a third dominator if you go somebody lower owned, like MDB, a Bowman, or something like that, where you're taking a real shot with those guys that are going to probably be sub 10% owned. So it's going to be how you're going to be able to build your lineup in the way that you're going to be comfortable with it. Like I said, in cash, I think you're going to really probably lean on these place differential guys, because it's just easy enough to do that. You'll be pretty safe that those guys are going to hit you probably 4.5, 5x, no problem, get you 30s, 40s, depending. You go from there, and then, like I said, with these dominators, you've got some of these sneakier plays that are starting around the teens that have a chance of getting you 5, 6, 7 spots and getting you there, and not really even having to dominate. And then you've got a few guys that are, starting in really juicy spots in like the top 8 that, just a little bit of strategy or something on pit road could get those guys out there, lead 20, 30 laps and dominate for you because they finish well. So, but again, you're taking stabs with a lot of those guys. I think the fuel window is going to be somewhere between 60 and 65 laps, but the tire wear here is horrible, so these guys are going to be screaming for tires before that. So, if there's a caution mid runs on these tires, 25, 30 laps, these guys are going to be rushing down to get one of these 13 slots, man. So, but we'll dive right into it, man. Denny Hamlin, most expensive this week at 11.4. He's starting second, so you're hoping with Denny Hamlin that he gets out there and leads you 40, 50, 60, 70 laps and wins the race, or leads you a ton more laps and is just able to finish in the top 5. And he's expensive for good reason. We won the second race here, finished 5th, so you got first in the 2 races this year. And then, a couple of bad races in 18 and 19, but before that was just super solid again, with pretty consistent top 5. So I think his price tag is going to limit some people a little bit. I still think Hamlin's probably going to be somewhere like 25 or 30% owned, just because it should be an easy road for him to dominate. So, you're just hoping he's able to get around Chase Elliott here at the beginning of the race and lead like a big chunk of this first stage, or let Elliott lead part of the first stage and he leads a good chunk of the second, or something like that. He has to stay up there. But, again, the other thing that's scary is that place differential downside. If something stupid happens, like Chase Elliott got taken out by Kyle Busch here when he was running second, craziness can happen. So, with Denny Hamlin, I think you're going to definitely get some exposure to him in tournaments. And it depends on how much you trust him. If you want to go with Denny Hamlin in cash, I don't hate it. It's just you're taking a little bit. You're really hoping for the early lead with Hamlin. Kevin Harvick 10-9 starting 8th. You like the potential place differential upside. I mean, Harvick has just been dominant. I don't know how to explain it, man. He's just been strong. Got this regular season championship already. So even at 10-9, Harvick's going to have to win this race and probably still get you some dominator points. Probably some fastest laps are going to come through there, especially if we get long runs, just because Harvick is another one of those guys that's really good with tire wear tracks. So, we get 25, 30 laps, and these guys are falling off 2 seconds, and he's falling off a second and a half, or 1.8 or 2/10 less than everybody else. He's going to be able to make some ground up and move around the track. So, you're going to want to get yourself some Kevin Harvick as well. I think Harvick will be slightly more popular probably than Denny Hamlin, just because you're getting the place differential upside as well. And the projections, you're not looking at too crazy of a projection difference between them. Chase Elliott, as far as these really expensive guys, probably my favorite personally. I just really hope that we don't get screwed by the pole sitter like we have so many times recently. We had Kyle Busch a month or so ago starting the pole at 19 laps, just ruins your day. So again, you really got to say, I got to trust the pole sitter here. I think Elliott, again, probably more popular than these two, just because he gets to choose which lane he wants on the start of this race. Probably going to take the high lane. I know he's got a couple of his teammates pretty close to him, and Bowman and Byron starting 3rd and 4th. That being said, it's hopefully, they can start some type of Hendricks train, and he's able to stay out there for a good chunk of this, first stage. The more he leads, the better he just has to, the worse he can finish. But I think you're still going to need him definitely inside of the top 10, unless he leads a huge amount of laps, or the top 5 if he can lead you 75, 80, maybe 100. Not something that Chase Elliott's done. 28 laps ain't going to get you there, but you need a crew race. But starting on the pole, I definitely think he's got a chance of getting there, no problem. But again, if Hamlin gets around him and you took the stand on Hamlin, who's probably a little bit lower owned, you could get there as well. Ryan Blaney getting scored from 7th, starting from the rear. Blaney I don't think was going to be super popular either way, probably somewhere in that 10 to 15% range, just because as of late, it's just not been exciting. His average finish, I think, over the last 8 races is 18th. It's been downhill for him. I mean, he's in the playoffs. And like I said, if you're grabbing a 3rd dominator, I probably wouldn't spend 10-3 to get different. But that also is going to, I think, turn a lot of people off of trying to get different with Ryan Blaney. So, again, if you trust Blaney, you think he can do well here, he's worth a shot. We'll see. Blaney's finishes just over the last few races haven't been anything that have been exciting. A 21st to 16th. I'm not seeing anything here that's giving me place differential upside. But at his price, even as well, with not a lot of place differential upside, I'm still going to probably need him to either win this race or lead me 30, 40 laps and finish inside of the top 5, which, if Blaney could pull his head out of his ass like he has before, and we've seen these monster finishes from before, it's been consistent. But, the few races before that, I mean, we haven't really had a Blaney that we liked since the beginning of August. And then back in July was when we were like, oh man, I got to play Blaney every weekend. So I don't know if I'm going to have to go there. I mean, if you're doing, single entry, I don't think you're landing there. I think if you're doing 20 teams, you might take a shot with him on 1 or 2. But with him going to the rear, I think it just limits him even more. But again, he's an aggressive driver, so again, he could do something crazy. Last guy, Kyle Busch in the 10K range, starting 15th. You really like the place differential upside, but again, it's Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch got enough points, didn't have a win to get you in. So I think for him, just barely making it into the playoffs, he's really got to prove himself. I don't think he's going to get through to the next round even unless he gets himself a win here in these first 4 races of the round of 16. So is Darlington the place that he goes for it? He's really good here. Finished 2nd here after spinning him. Finished 26th the race before. He's got some seat time. So And then we were consistently top 7 in the 3 races before that, hasn't finished outside of the top 11. So, you have your fingers crossed. You're like, all right, if you just have a regular day, you're getting me 4 or 5 spots. If you have a monster day, you're going to give me some dominator points. I think starting 15th at 10Ks, pretty much got to finish top 5 to pay off that price, or go out and get you some dominator points and finish around there as well. Probably against some fastest laps will come his way throughout the race just because of strategy differences. So all you guys watching, man, again, give us that like button, give us that subscribe button. It helps us out, man. We want to come here and keep giving you guys this content because it's just what we do. And at Wise Take, like I said, we're a family, man. So, like I said, give us those like buttons and we'll keep going. So start off in the 9K range. We've got Joey Logano starting 13th at $9,800. I mean, it's kind of in the same boat. I mean, he got you 43 fantasy points at $9,800. I want a little bit more than that. But he's somebody that does, has a chance to get some laps led. But man, again, really don't know what I want to do with Logano. I mean, the finishes are decent, but he's not giving you a ton of upside. I mean, hopefully, if Logano gets it right, if he's one of these guys that plays strategy right, he could get you like a top 5. I mean, I could see him getting there, or again, being on the flip side of maybe some strategy, pitting early and getting fresh tires and then trying to roll to the front as these guys are pitting late. I don't know. I don't think Logano, again, is going to be super popular, probably sub 20%. So you're not getting really different with him, but, he's somebody that you could easily take a stand if you think Logano's going to pull it off for you. Again, I don't think he's been killing you week after week. He killed you last week. Before that, it's like you're still getting me points, but just nothing super impressive. And it's like he's going to have a breakout race at some point. And starting 13th, you do like to place differential upside possibly, but again, I don't think he's somebody you've got to take a huge stance. I'm going 50% Logano. Like you could choose to play him if you're playing 20 entry. With him at 20%, are you going to go 30, 35, or are you going to go 5? I don't think he's going to get there, and I don't want him in many, but I'll have a hedge lineup or 2 just in case he does it. Then we hit Chalk City here with Eric Jones starting 30th. The price tag's high. Eric Jones, I think to get this, probably going to need to get at least inside of the top 15. But I think you're asking a lot. I mean, there's still some. He's got to come from 30th. I expect him to probably be in the low 20s pretty quickly, but again, as these tires start to wear out, I don't know, man. I mean, he's going to be super popular, like over 40%, but it's like, if he drives well like he's supposed to, and finishes inside of the top 10 starting 30th, you want to get a ton of that, but, again, he's going to be one of those guys that you're going to have to make that decision on in tournaments. Am I going like 60 or 70% Jones and pretty much making him the staple of most of my lineups because I think he's going to finish top 10, which he usually does here? Or are you going to be one of those guys that says, all right, man, I'm going to do like 15, 20% just to kind of hedge myself, but I think he's going to crush the field and I want to move around to be different enough in these tournaments than the other 40 to 50% of people that are going to be on him. So, again, it's big stands on these chalk pieces if you're doing mass entry. Martin Truex, $9,400. Truex has just been really hot lately. The finishes have been stellar. Hasn't finished outside of the top 5, I think, in like the last 7 or 8 races. Yeah, 4 second, third. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's what you need week after week. So, you're getting Truex starting 6th. I think he's going to be like one of these guys that it's going to be easier for you to say, okay, I'm going to take a Chase Elliott and I'm going to take Martin Truex as my expensive 2 dominators and then go, all right, man, I think, I'm going to grab a Bowman, a Byron, a Boyer, and I'm going to roll somebody down here in the low 8s, before I start leaning on my place differential guys. So I do like Truex. Truex's ownership's not going to be high, so that's why I think I like the fact that I'm going to get Truex at 20%, because people are going to be so busy with these guys up top that they're going to pass over him at $9,400. I mean, at Truex at 6th, you're going to probably, like I said, need a win or 20, 30 dominator points. to get you there. And he does have, like I said, solid finishes, usually inside of the top 10, top 15 a couple of times. But I do like to lean on the fact that he should finish top 10. And he's got some laps led. I think at his price tag, he gets you 20, 30, like he's done here a few times. 70, definitely you're getting there with him at that price. But, even 20, 30 laps and finishing where he started, I think gets you there at, his price tag. So you can definitely take a stand with Truex. Ricky Stenhouse, starting 29th. You're like, oh, great, sweet. I'm getting Ricky Stenhouse at this price. But you're getting Ricky Stenhouse with that much place differential. But then the price tag, it's like, oh, it's just a swift kick in the balls. Like when you can go down and grab yourself Priest, Newman, Kenseth, any of these guys that are way cheaper that have just as much potential to finish up there. So, if you're trying to take Ricky Stenhouse, you're pretty much committing to a 2-dominator lineup. I don't think you could afford a third dominator, with, potentially 3 guys inside of the $9,000 range. So I think it's going to be tough. I don't think, I was originally looking at probably thinking his ownership might be like 5 to 10%, but I don't know. It depends on what people are trying to do. If people are leaning more towards a 3-dominator or really trying to lay on these 2 dominators with a lot of place differential upside. So, I could see people landing on Stenhouse, but, again, he's Ricky Stenhouse. It's not the greatest thing in the world, and we've seen finishes that have just crushed your souls, like the last 2 of 15 and a negative 15, but then right before that got you a 51. So, at his price, I'm going to need a 50 at least, and, that's not the easiest road for him starting there. I think he's going to have to finish. I'm trying to do the math earlier. I think 10th or 11th will get you close to 50 fantasy points, that's still a lot of work for him. And it's like how much can you trust that with his finishes, like grabbing your Stenhouse. It's like you got a 12th. A 12th is going to probably get you there every other race. You need a career race out of Stenhouse. So I think if his price would have been like $8,000, you would have seen a lot more people trying to land on Stenhouse. But I think with his price tag and you're trying to go dominators, it's just going to get overlooked or unplayable just because you can't afford him. Last guy in the 9K range is Kurt Busch. Kurt starting 16th. Kurt's another guy that's really got a good background here. 15th here, but those 4 races before that, he was straight top 7. So, you need a Kurt Busch day on this track, I think, to get you there. He's got some laps led. I need a solid day. You give me 60 laps led at your price tag and finish inside of the top 10, I'm happy. Or you go out and finish inside of the top 5 starting 16th at your price tag. I'm probably taking cash and sticking in the bank. So, I think he'll garnish a little bit of ownership just because he's kind of like a mid-range, maybe a sneaky dominator that goes out and gets you a few laps led starting 16th. He's in the same boat as his brother, and he's $1,000 cheaper. So, again, it's another one of these guys that's going to be probably in that 20% owned range that, again, you're going to be taking potentially some stands on these guys saying, okay, I'm trusting Kurt Busch to finish top 5. I'm up 30, 35%. Or I think Kurt Busch is going to finish where he started or worse, and I'm going to have a hedge lineup or 2, in last entry. But again, I think Kurt Busch is another one of those guys that could sneakily get you there. So we'll roll down into the 8K range. You got Brad Keselowski. I just ridiculously like the price tag. Is a sneaky dominator. $8,800. I'm not asking the world out of him. Again, just probably a solid top 5 finish. I think at his price tag, probably get you there. So, and again, if he's starting that close to the front, I expect his team to make some crazy switches and changes in the pits and take 2 or something wild like that, and just get a few laps led or some fastest laps on some strategies. So again, I can see Keselowski getting there. I like that he's cheap. I mean, we do have some other cheaper, potential dominators, which I think is going to be probably the staples of your third dominators potentially. It's getting a little different maybe with one of these guys down here, but, Keselowski probably the safer of these cheaper ones. Austin Dillon is going to get cheaper, not as safe. Even Anarola, Boyer, I'd probably in the same boat just because you've got some place differential bolted in there too as well, but again, it's these guys are, I think, where you're going to have to land, which means you might get him overlooked. So, if Keselowski goes 20, percents, 15, 20%, and you can make some, big moves if you go 25, 30%, you get you there. So, Austin Dillon, $8,600. It's like, I can see these price tags on some people, but Austin Dillon, starting 12th, like, maybe he can finish around there is what I think is going to be the average for him. I've seen some top 10s. Got crush you in the top 40 you get in there, but Austin Dillon I don't think is going to be super popular. Of course, probably like sub 10% again if you want to get different. His price tag top 5 is probably going to get you there, but I think he's more going to probably finish around where he started. So, again, if you're doing 20 entries, you're going to make the decision to X him out, or you're going to make the decision to go 20% or something like that. I'd probably lean in more towards Xing him out, like a 20 entry, 150. Maybe you can have some hedge games with him. Jimmy Johnson starting 22nd. Too bad for him, man. I was hoping he was going to make the playoffs, just like everybody else. But, with him starting 22nd, is he going to try to at least take the season out on a bang, the career out on a bang as he leaves? You're going to probably need a top 10 or so for him starting 22nd to get you there. What do we got here? So, Jimmy Johnson got you 8th here in the second race last year, but crushed you in the race before that. And then we go back to old school Jimmy where he was a top 5 car here every week. So, how much of that data are they using? How much are they going to make it happen? We've seen a super dominant performance, back in 2012, which was a minute ago. Like I said, 22nd, you only did about 10 spots or so, and he pays off for you. So, are you going to take some stands with Jimmy? I do like him. Like I said, I think he's going to garnish a good amount of ownership, probably 20, 25%. Just because as you're trying to save a little bit of money after these expensive dominators, he's one of the safer, I think, place differential upside plays in that range. Eric Amarola starting 10th. Like I was saying earlier, I think Amarola, Boyer, Bowman, Byron, Cole Custer, MDB, pretty much that whole 8,300 to like 7,200, that $1,000 range. Like, one of the guys in this range is probably going to be sneaky as hell and get you there. I think Amarola, sub 10%. Clint Boyer's probably sub 10% or right around the 10% mark. Bowman, same thing. Byron, same thing. It's like, I don't think you're going to get any of these guys over 15%. And again, like, these are sneaky dominators. Like Eric Amarola somehow gets you some laps led or is able to finish in the top 5. He probably gets you there at $8,300. Really, the same thing for Clint Boyer. Clint Boyer goes out, gets you top 5 at $8,100. He's probably getting you there. Alex Bowman, same thing. If he can finish where he started or get you a handful of dominator points and finish inside of the top 5, top 10 to offset him, I could see Bowman sneakily getting in there. And then you got Byron. Then you got Byron, who you're like the same kind of the boat. I think I would trust Bowman over Byron. But again, Emerald and Clint Boyer, you like the little bit of place differential upside you get. And then MDB, it's like, all right, it's the coupling of cheap price and place differential upside. If MDB is going to go out and crush, or if MDB is going to make the next round of the playoffs, I think MDB is going to need a win here, or a win on one of these first 4 races to guarantee himself into the next round, or some really, really, really dominant performances. So, MDB, I think probably still going to be somebody around 10% because the finishes aren't really there. You do what you did in one of these last 3, I'm probably okay with you. But again, it's how much do you trust them? And then I think with these other guys, now you start getting into these kind of juicy place differential guys that are cheap. Really the pricing was a little off this week. I mean, you're giving me Ryan Newman starting 31st at $7,200, but you're trying to charge me $9,200 to take Ricky Stenhouse starting 2 spaces forward. Like, I would have flip-flopped the 2 of them, and then I think Ryan Newman probably still would have been 40% owned like he's going to be tomorrow or today. I apologize. And it's $7,200. Like, again, Newman has not been the most consistent guy as of late. So you're going to trust what you're going to get out of him. I mean, these last 2 races, he killed you. Before that, nothing really dominant. You know, again, at 40%, it's really hard to sit there and go, all right, man, I got to, you know, if I'm playing, 20 entry max, I'm either going, 15% to hedge myself because I think he's going to destroy 40% of the field, or you're going 50, 60% because you're trying to say, okay, at $7,200, he's going to be the staple of my lineup. The same thing's going to be said about Priest when we get down there. It's like, again, I hate having these guys at such high ownership that have so much place differential upside, but have just not been getting you the finishes and stuff that you really want. I mean, the chances of Newman scoring in negative points are pretty low, but, again, Newman scoring a 10 because he finishes 31st is not going to be enough to get me there. But Newman, again, is another guy that's fairly decent here. You see these top 15s, top 10s pretty consistently, but it's like, again, it's hard to sit there and say, okay, I've got to take that much of a stand on you based on like recent performance. It scares me. But again, like, you're going to have to make the stands on Newman, Priest, and probably Eric Jones. Like, are you going heavy over, heavy under? If you think all 3 of them are going to get there, like, that's you're building 3 people on your lineup and still being able to build 2 solid dominators in there. So it's like, what are you going to do with him? Starting 31st, I mean, you do love the place differential upside, but again, if you finish as 21st or so, not going to kill you, but it's probably not going to get you there and be optimal. Anything I think inside of the top 15, I think he smashes for you. So again, it has the potential to get there. I think he's going to be really popular, but again, it's going to be a decision maker. You get Tyler Reddick starting 24th. Solid in the first 2 races, got you 13th. It was a solid run. And you get him starting 24th. You're like, all right, go on, give me 10 spots. I'll take 10 spots at $7K. Again, Reddick's probably going to garnish a little bit of ownership, probably 25, 30%, because you're getting down here. And, some of these place differential guys down here, like, you're not asking a whole lot out of them. And, these guys have the upside. It's pretty solid down and through this range. Like, some of these guys you can really be confident in as sort of like a cheaper option. Christopher Bell, you're getting $100 price savings. And you're losing a couple of spots. I think Reddick will probably be more popular than Bell. But again, Bell, somebody you could take a stand on. He's going to probably be 20% or so. You're going to probably see Reddick at like 25. Like, what do you want to do with these guys? Like, you could take a stand on one of the 2 of them, or take them both if you want to save some money. That helps you build some pretty solid lineups. You can trust them both, but you can pivot off each other with them as well. Bubba Wallace starting 17th. With the other 2 guys being so juicy above him, and Reddick and Bell, and then as you start getting down here, some of these other guys are even nicer. I don't think Bubba's going to garnish a ton of ownership, probably around 10%. But again, if Bubba Wallace finishes somewhere in the top 12, 13, gets you 4 or 5 spots, I could see him smashing for you. But again, uphill battle for him. You'd have to get you his career. You'd have to career ratio like he did here with the 16th. Any of these other mid-20s aren't going to get you there. That's why I don't think he's going to garnish a ton of ownership. But again, he's cheap, and you could get different down here, and it saves you some money to play up here. So, it depends on what you want to do with him. 20 entry, you're going to play him in like 15%, you're going to X him out. Matt Kenseth starting 26th. Another one of these pieces that's really cheap that you really want to like say, okay, I trust you to get you there. Solid top 5 car back in his heyday. Did get you 10th in the first race. Looked really good in the second race before having some issues and finishing 30th. Never really dominating performance. But again, Kenseth, I think people are going to land on just because of his price. You're getting 26th. He gets you about 10 spots. He's crushing for you. So it's like, what do you want to do with that? Like, you could take him and, like I said, make him a staple of your lineup at 25% probably owned, and decide whether you want to take a stand on that or do what you want to do. Michael McDowell, much lower owned because you can get Kenseth for $100 more. Or you can take Ty Dillon, Ryan Preece, Ross Chastain, all these guys down here that are a little bit cheaper, overtaking Michael McDowell. I think he's just starting a little too far forward for me. Yeah, on a good day, McDowell might be able to finish around here. He's not the worst at this track, but he's definitely not the best. I mean, he's 17th here in the second race, but again, that was all with strategy. I don't see McDowell smashing starting 19th. If you're starting 29th, they could finish 19th. I'd probably have a ton of him, but same thing. John Hunter Nemechek. I think he's going to be more popular than McDowell just because he's got better equipment. But again, you're taking a big stand on somebody that just hasn't been proving himself to you lately. 47 is going to smash like you did last week, but before that, these 30s and 20s and stuff like that, it was just not impressive enough for you to land there. So. Again, if you're taking a stab on Nemechek, I think Nemechek will probably come in somewhere, probably 15% down, just because people are going to like the potential. Again, you only need probably 4 or 5 spots out of him. A solid finish. Wouldn't kill you if he finished where he started. Then we roll into Ty Dillon at 6K. You're getting Ty Dillon starting 25th. You didn't play him back in the spring because he started second. Wouldn't have played him there. But as we scroll over, you can see that Ty Dillon back started 22nd, finished 13th, and got you a 45. 33rd, 22nd, got you 32. Pretty solid finisher here. So again, Ty Dillon's going to probably garnish a little bit of ownership. Probably in like that 30% range because these people are going to be really trying to smash in these expensive guys. And they're going to be like, all right, well, if I'm going to get cheap, I need to rely on some place differential. But again, getting 30% Ty Dillon is scary. You're going to be taking these big stands. You think Ty Dillon's finishing 15th, you're going to play 50% of them. If you think Ty Dillon's going to finish where he started or worse, then you're going to pretty much try to get rid of him at somewhere, like I said, around 30 to 35% ownership, which is scary. And then you got Ryan Preece starting 35th. At $5,900, if Preece could just drive like he's supposed to with the equipment that he's got, Preece should be finishing inside of the top 20-ish. Starting 35th, he's going to smash for you, but again, he's also got the ability to ruin your life. Started on the pole, finished dead last. That's Preece for you in a nutshell. You get it all at the last race here. Again, these performances starting fairly deep in the field, started 28th, finished 37th, started 29th, finished 26th. Where he's been starting, he hasn't been getting you there. Not since the Foxwood Casino where he got you a 40. And again, this is a very different track. Finishes in the last 2 races. Yeah, 22nd, 20th, 39th. You go out and you do this, okay. You go out and you do that, and he's crushing 40% of the field. So, on these steep tracks, oh man, I don't know. It's one of these things. I think Preece is like the pivotal piece at $5,900. Everybody's like, all right, well, I can plug and play at $5,900, and if I put him in my lineup, it leaves me almost 9K for the other drivers. I can take 5 drivers above 9K almost. It's scary. Like I said, I think he's going to be probably 45-50% owned because of that price. And, you're going to go into a tournament and you're going to be like, all right, I'm paying 75% of him because he's going to get there. Or I'm going to play 25% of him, have only a few hedge lineups and hope to God that he crushes everybody else. And I don't even have to be that weird to get there. So, again, I could see him being extremely popular at $5,900, but that's your call on how much over or under you want to go with Preece. Daniel Suarez starting 28th. I think everybody's just going to spend an extra $100 on Preece or spend down for a Buescher, Chastain, LaJoie, or whatever instead of a Suarez starting 28th. Suarez on a good day will probably finish around here, which will kill you. But the place differential downside, he'd be a 10% owned guy. There's just too many other plays that I'd rather play. I'd play Buescher over him. I'd play Chastain over him. I'd play LaJoie over him. I'd play Gase probably over him. I'd play Yaley over him. So against Warriors, I don't think you're going to land there $1,500. Chris Buescher, you do like starting 20th. If Buescher goes out and has a solid day, which Buescher can do here, you're going to be happy with the finish. Buescher for you guys here. Buescher goes out, gets you the 17th or 13th or 12th like he did. These two races this year, not solid, but, with Buescher, you're taking a stand on what he's done before. Started 32nd, finished 23rd, got you at 30. We're okay with that. That's where you're getting him this week. Starting 20th, you need a career day. I think at $5,700, if he gets you 4 or 5 spots, he crushes. So, again, Buescher, somebody that you can get, medium ownership by 15-20%. But if you want to get a little different here, you can get different there again, or you can easily fade him on a 3 entry max if you don't think there. Definitely probably would fade him on a 3 entry max, but 20 entry I can see myself getting some exposure to. Ross Chastain starting 34th. You're getting Chastain that deep in the field. He's going to be starting from the rear because of a driver change. Reed Sorensen even switched, kind of stupid, but whatever. If he makes it to the end, if you can get 8-10 spots out of him, which would be a good day for Chastain. Finished 28th in the 2 races he's been here before. Like, that'll probably get you there starting 34th at his price tag. Get you 25 or 30 or something in that ballpark. See you landing on some Chastain again. I don't think he'll be over 10%. Corey LaJoie, kind of the same boat, probably even lower owned, but rather play Chastain starting 34th and LaJoie starting 27th. And then, these other guys, it's like, if you think it's going to be a super wrecky race, you can play some Joey Gase or some J.J. Yaley. But I don't think I'd land on Balicki. Definitely not someone like Grayson. Davison or Timmy Hill, I don't think you need to go there. Definitely Brennan Poole's just easy enough to X out starting 23rd. I think his place differential upside is not enough for me to want to go there. Hunter Dobbs asking fade Kyle. That's a tough question. I think if you're playing him heavy. I think Kyle's going to be somewhere around 20%. Like I said, if you're building 20 entry max, you're either going to build a hedge team or 2 with him, or you're going to play 25 or 30% of him, or 35% trying to get an edge on the field, because, like I said, the place differential upside is pretty. But again, I could save $1,000 and grab his brother. 10K, like I said, you're probably going to need some dominator points still starting 15th or a win, to get you there. And dude finished second here earlier in the season. So, again, if Kyle Busch has a Kyle Busch day here, he's going to crush. So that's on you, man. But if you get Kyle Busch of late, again, it's are you going to take a stand? Like I took a stand on him 2 weeks ago and he ruined my life. Over on FanDuel, I think you're probably going to need the 2 lap leaders, and then the rest is going to come from your place differential / finishing position. So, it's how much do you trust these expensive guys over here? Harvick, again, you want these guys to lead some laps to get you there. Denny Hamlin, same thing's going to have to lead you some laps and be that one of those lap leaders to get you there. Brad Keselowski at his price, definitely going to have to be a lap leader to probably get you there. Same thing with Truex at 12.4. Chase Elliott, I still like Chase even over here. I think he could easily lead 75, 80 laps in this race if he can lead a good chunk of the first stage. Joey Logano, if you think Joey can get you a top 5 finish, I can definitely see you landing here. Kyle Busch, you're getting a little cheaper. Again, probably top 5 finish gets you there with Kyle. Same thing for his brother. Top 5, top 10 finish is probably enough. Eric Jones will probably be popular because of the place differential being really the only thing that means anything over here. Eric Almirola, Ryan Blaney, again, are going to be people you get real different with. I don't think they're going to garnish a ton of ownership, especially with Blaney going to the rear. I think Almirola, to get you there at 10-2, is probably going to have to be like a tiny 3rd lap leader or be the 2nd lap leader to get you there. Blaney 10K start from the rear, I don't think you have to go there. Jimmy Johnson, if you think he can finish inside of the top 10, he can smash for you.
Bowman MDB against sneaky potential second lap leaders. Boyer, same boat. Tyler Reddick, if you think he can get you, say 10 spots. I think there's some other plays down here, especially cheaper. We'll get down to those here in a second. You'll see where you could take somebody super cheap and then just almost stay in the 10K range. So William Byron, Austin Dillon against sneaky potential dominators. Christopher Bell, you like to place differential upside. Ryan Newman is $7,500. Like if Ryan Newman goes out and gets you 15 spots, he crushes for you. Cole Custer, sneaky dominator, possibly if you think he can be a lap leader. Tougher road for him. Don't think you need to land on Cole Custer on FanDuel unless you think he's finishing inside of the top 5, top 7 probably. Kenseth, I could see being popular. 7K if he gets you 10, 15 spots and finishes close to the top 10, top 15, he crushes for you. Chris Buescher, I think I could skip over Buescher. Skip over Bubba. Skip over Nemechek. Stenhouse at $5,500. Like it's a different story over here. I see Ricky Stenhouse being popular here because at $5,500 starting 29th, he goes out and gets you 14th. Gets you 15 spots. He smashes. McDowell, I think, will get looked over. Ryan Preece, again, same boat here. He's 5K. Getting him starting 35th. If Preece finishes inside of the top 20 or close to it at 5K, he smashes. Daniel Suarez, now you're asking less out of him, but I still think I'd skip over Daniel. Don't think you need to go there. Ty Dillon, if you really think he can get you 10 spots and finish inside of the top 15, you could go there. I don't think you're going to play anybody else unless you really want to go, like, you want the top 5 most expensive guys. I could see you landing on, like, JJ Yaley and then spending $12,000 for the other 4 drivers. If you wanted to be really stupid and you think you're going to get first, second, third, fourth place guy, and then Yaley's going to finish 10 spots up. Like, if you want to get really crazy, but I don't think you're going to need to do that. I think the cheapest you'd have to go probably would be Stenhouse. Stenhouse at $5,500, or even Ryan Preece at 5K. Ryan Preece still leaves you $11,250. I mean, I could take Chase Elliott. I could take Eric Jones, plays differential upside. It's like the rest of your lineup. It's like, what do you think? You think Mark Truex going to keep finishing top 3? Go Mark Truex. If you think pushes you down, you still got 10K, and I think, like, again, you can get a little different here. You could take the place differential safety of Jimmy Johnson potentially, and just take yourself a 2. You think Truex and Elliott are going to lead? Like, I don't think it's going to be Truex. I think it's going to be Keselowski. Again, you can get a little different here if you want to get rid of him. I do like Chase a lot. And again, if you think one of these guys is going to crush you, I can see you coming off of Preece and saying, okay, I don't trust Preece as much as I trust Stenhouse. So when you get a little piece of Stenhouse at $5,500, I still could fit in pretty much whoever I want at that price. You could fit all the way up again into Truex or even Keselowski, just by taking one of those kind of cheaper pieces. Or, again, you could build more balanced if you think you can get, somebody in like the 7K range, and then maybe somebody in this 8,000 and 9K range as your second guy. But again, I think you can at least 2 people as far as the dominators on both sites. On to Dobbs, on DK, Denny, Kyle, Truex, Harvick, Chastain, LaJoy. You can make that fit. See that. Denny, Kyle, Jones, Newman, Denny, Kyle, Truex, Harvick, Chastain. Yeah, I didn't think that fit Chastain LaJoy. I mean, yeah, you got yourself three, solid potential dominators with Hamlin, Busch, and Harvick. I could see you definitely landing there with three. I do like the Lumen, even LaJoy or Chastain. Kind of hopeful place differential upside on this guy. So I can see that thing working. Don't know if like I said, I don't know if it fits, but like I said, you could get there. I can see it happening. Harvick, Kyle Busch, Jones, Newman, Ty Dillon, and Reese. Yeah, I mean, I like that. I think that's a very cashy type build. That's where, like I said, in cash, if you're going to take two dominators, and then the other four guys being your really solid place differential plays, I could see landing on Jones, Newman, Ty Dillon, and Ryan Preece for your other four. So, that's a lineup I could see you throwing in cash. I don't know how much I trust Kyle for cash. And again, if things got weird, this could be, two dominators that, like I said, could potentially get you there. So, like I said, I can see you standing there. That's another. So we got another minute or two, guys, here. If you want to throw, some more questions in here, man, let me know. Stephen West saying a sneak peek on Kyle Busch. Like I said, I've been over it, man. It's how much do you trust him, as of late, and then how much are you going to trust his background here. It's always so scary with him lately. Taking these stands. It's like, if you do that to me, you're going to crush me. It's like every other race, he kind of gets you there. 10K, I'm going to want a 60 out of him, which is doable. Kind of was in the same boat here. And he's decent here. So Kyle Busch is another guy, like I said, it's solid top 10, top 11 finish guy. I'm going to probably want, like I said, to get a 60 out of him. I think I probably need a win. Or some dominator points and a solid top 10 finish. So, like I said, I can see him getting there. I think if you do, I don't think he'll be super popular in cash, but again, I could definitely see people getting there with him. Like I said, guys, fire those questions up, man. I got another minute or two. You guys want to hit me up on Twitter, man? It's at kartracing_22. So come check us out, man. We're always here. wisetake.com. You want to come check out the site, man. We got day passes. You want to see the craziness that we do over there. Like I said, my favorite part is if you guys get into this nation, man, is the Slack, man. We're in there joking around, talking about what we see, bouncing it off the other members, man, and it's a family. So if you're trying to punch your ticket to Screenshot City, man, this is where we are. So, come check us out, wisetake.com. Check us out on Twitter at wise_take. Get us on Instagram at wisetake, Facebook or at wisetake. And you can use my promo code NASCAR20. It gets 20% off, man. So, like I said, I got 12 of you guys watching, man. I got 5 likes, man. Give me some more of those like buttons, guys. If you got any other questions, man, you got 10, 15 seconds. Throw it in there. I'll try to get it for you. If not, man, good luck. And, see you guys back next week.